Carolina, and I'm so glad to see it as always. I do hope everyone is well today and are able to get out and enjoy this day, getting some fresh air, some sunshine, and hopefully some exercise if it's in your neck of the woods. Here in Charlotte, it's overcast, and the forecast says it's going to be drizzling and cloudy all day. But I think it's a beautiful day, just for the simple fact that we have another opportunity to live, to breathe, and have our being in the Most High. And I do have a thought for today, and it's kind of a funny one that the Father gave me early this morning. And I say early this morning because, once again, it was before my alarm clock went off. And when that happens, I always say that's early for me. But it was one that was it was very serious the way he presented it to me. And I'm going to pass it along just like he gave it to me. Stop dibbling and dabbling with me. That's what the Most High told me this morning, and I caught myself real quick and said, oh boy, what am I dibbling and dabbling with the Most High, as far as the Most High is concerned? Because, I try to check myself daily to make for certain that I'm at one with the Father, just as Yahushua, Jesus the Christ, said he was with the Father. And I need to keep that consistent relationship. Because of the past I had, I don't want to go back through nothing like that again. The stroke, the open heart surgery, the brain surgery, the leg surgeries. And I really hadn't talked about that as much. But they had a problem with my leg, with the wound healing. And when I was in rehab, they had to call in a specialist to try to get the wound to heal right, because it was a huge gash in my left leg to where the doctors was fishing around for blood clots, so they say. I laugh at doctors because a lot of them, they swear they know it all, but a lot of what they do is guesswork also. But I'm not talking about them today. I was just speaking on how I have gone through some really horrific things, and a lot of them at my own doing or by my own hand. But as I was saying, making that point, I didn't want to have to go through something else like that, or even worse, death, because I'm not at one or at peace with the Father. Or basically, in words that we all can understand, out of pocket. But as I continued to seek his face, because trust me, after that, I was a seeking. I was abiding, all the great words that mean getting in close to him and saying, how you slide up to somebody when you want to ask them something. I was like, Pop, what's going on? What have I done? And he began to comfort me and let me know this wasn't for me. And basically it was for the individual that I was singing to yesterday morning. When I was saying, make that move right now, baby. You better make that move right now. So the Most High is doubling down on that statement and saying, stop dibbling and dabbling with me. And basically stop playing with me. And that's in one sense of the word. But of course, you know me, I looked it up. And let me find it. dibble, when I looked that up, it's a garden tool that's used to plant. It's a garden tool you stab the ground with, basically, and then after you make that hole, you put seeds in. And dabble means to do something without any effort or real concern about it, about what you're doing. And I thought that was quite interesting, to say the least. But yeah, so basically I gave the thought, or the meaning of the thought for today, dibble dabble. And the Most High says, stop dibbling and dabbling with me, or stop dibble and dabbling with me. And basically stop playing with me. And it may be in a sense, which I don't know, I'm not trying to say I'm nobody's prophet or nothing, but I know what the Most High put in my spirit. It may be a sense that you're not going out and doing what the Most High tell you to do, as far as dabbling or dibbling with the seed part, or the tool that's made to plant seeds. And you're doing it with half-hearted effort. So when the Most High gave me this today, I'm like, what else? Give me something else. That's quite simple. I mean, give me something to build me up today. I need some encouragement. And basically he's like, you just do what I tell you to do, when I tell you to do it, how I tell you to do it. I need you to do what I tell you to do. I need you to listen to my voice and obey my voice, and you're going to be fine. But then he began to give me that script. Seek the Most High while he can be found. And see, I can't stop thinking about that garden tool, the dibble. And if this could be an idea that someone is dibbling and dabbling with ministry, and or I just say what the Most High told you to do. You're doing it half-heartedly. And as I've been saying the last few days, the Most High has been putting in my spirit, only what you do for him is going to last. So you want to make sure you're giving your all to him. Because no doubt when we want something from him, we want him to give us his whole heart, or his all. And that's a good thought. We got to do what we got to do for the Most High. And that's the other text that comes back to Yahusha, or Jesus the Christ. He said, Hawaii-Shah, he said that we must do the work the Most High sent us to do while it is day, because the night comes when nobody can work. And basically he was foretelling his death, and that he wouldn't be able to do any more works because he was going to the grave, and basically his work was done anyway, but he was giving us that example for us to do the work that the Father has given to us while we're living and can. Because after we die, we can't do any more works. And that's the night. And also the season we're in, we can understand that this is the night season that we're, I hate to say approaching, but that we're actually in. The dark season. Gross darkness that the script speaks about, how the people will be filled with darkness, how the world will be filled with darkness. darkness and the people with gross darkness. That means that the evil is basically taking over. But it's totally up to us, of those of us that walks in righteousness. And like I said, those of us that are striving to walk with the Most High on a consistent basis, then we have to be the ones that put out these calls. I have another question. I just thought about this. How many of us think our secret place is our bed? This is something came to me because I have found out, or I had to learn, that I had to get up and go to my secret place. I couldn't try to hear the voice of the Most High in my bed. And yes, He does speak to us while we're in our bed, but usually we have to get up and seek His face. Lord bless you. Your eyes to see and ears to hear. Perfect will for everybody. This ain't it. According to Torah. Yeah, that was that young lady I was telling y'all about last week, if not the week before, that was trying to weigh me down like she knew me. Her associate. And I'm gonna leave it at that. People say don't speak ill of the dead. I try not to speak ill of the living. Our family members, our folks. And see, this is something that the Most High is teaching me as He teach me day by day. And this lesson is coming about because of the silence He's telling me I need to acquire again. Should I say reacquire? But yeah, I was just also thinking earlier about Hebraic faith that I believe in. And what's the big deal? What's the difference? And I wanted to take a second just to share my belief and what I think is different from the European Christian mentality or doctrine. And the main thing is, I believe that we are the real children of the Most High. His chosen people. And it's easily seen by the scripts. It has been proven up and down, through and by the scripts, historic documentation, and also DNA. And see, that's not the real biggie, which is a biggie, but the most important thing, or I should say my most important belief that is different from the Christian, or should I say the European Christian mentality. And I say that, the European Christian mentality or doctrine, because Christian in most circles still mean Christ-like. And we know Christ is the anointed one, the one that was sent to save our souls by dying on the tree, and also meant to usher us back into right standing with the Father. And see, that's another thing. I believe that Jesus Christ, or the so-called person called Jesus Christ, is the anointed one. I call him Yahusha. Some people call him Yahweh. And it's like I said, many folks still call him Jesus. And I'm not even going into the name. I'll just say that back then there was no such thing as a J the Hebrew alphabet or language. But it takes some studying to show yourself approved, and that's what I have done the last, I would say, 6 or 7 years. About a year before I had that stroke, so right around 6 or 7 years, the Most High began me on this journey of seeking the truth. And also, as I said one time before, there's no such a thing as your truth or my truth. It's only one truth. And then we have to adjust to the truth, whether we're going to believe it or not. But my other belief is, and this is one of the most important, is that we have to live according to the Torah, the Bible. We have to live according to what it says, not according to what we think it says, but what does the Most High say on this subject? Because he is the author of the book. He just inspired men to write it, to document, or basically taking the notes as he spoke them to them, like a secretary. And also the grace thing, grace and mercy. See, that follows right behind what I just said. We have to live the Bible as it says, not as we think it says, or how our European mindset preachers and teachers have taught us. Because they'll teach us that we're supposed to have nothing missing, nothing broken out in our lives. And the Bible doesn't say anything about that. Yes, we're to prosper and be in health, but even as our soul prospers. And it's not all about prosperity. Everybody's not going to prosper. And every child of the Most High can't prosper. Or should I say they're not going to prosper in this lifetime. And it's not like a lot of preachers would have you to think that your faith is broken. But it's because of sound doctrine. You really have to study and show yourself approved to what the Most High is really saying. And basically, you have to go to Holy Ghost University. And see, that's what he told me them 6, 7 years ago. I want you to enroll in the Holy Ghost University. And what I was talking about was the grace and mercy piece. Yes, the Most High forgives us, but what we have to understand is he's not gonna, just like any loving parent, he's not gonna just let you continue to piss on his good graces. And I hate to use that kind of word, but that's the best word that I can come up with without cussing. And I'm not gonna cuss, but he's not gonna let us his words because he loves us. Like any other parent, just like it says, he'll wink at your sin for a while, but that don't mean he's going to continue to let you continue to do over and over and over again the same mess, and then keep calling back on him, asking him to forgive me. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I won't do it again. Like I've been calling it lately, the toilet seat confession. That most of us drinkers and drug users, we have made this confession to the Most High. I'll never do it again. Get me out of this one. I'll never drink again. Get me out of this one. I'll never smoke. I'll never dope. I'll never do it again. But then we turn around and go right back to what we promised we'll never do again. But the Most High, his graces and mercy have a limit. And you might ask me, how would I know that, and why would I say that? It's because of hell. See, hell wasn't created for men. It was created for Hasatan and his imps, his devils, his demons. But if we're going to follow him like Adam and Eve did, we're going to have to pay the consequences also, which is hell and the lake of fire. And I say that because hell is waters are growing. It's extending itself. It's growing from the size the Most High has made it, because we're finding folks wanting to go and enter it day by day, because they don't want to follow the Most High's way and His plan for their lives. So these are a few of the basic beliefs that I have that may be different, or that are different than the normal Christian doctrine, or the way the Christian doctrine has been taught us. And I say taught us because what we don't realize is we're still living in the Nat Turner era. And you would say, why would you say that? We'll progress so far beyond that. Okay, well, ask yourself about the black leaders we have in our community. Okay, I'll wait. I thought so. The Jessies. What's the other fellas' names that come to mind? And it doesn't really matter. You can go back and think from around the 60s and up until this time and ask yourself, what real leaders have we had really fighting for our rights and for our benefit in our community? And you're not going to find any at all besides the ones you can name on your hand. And even those, you may have to go back in history and see that they were compromised. But I'm going to let that be my time for today. I just want to speak on that because, you know, a lot of folks are scared to even take a listen to what we believe. And after you start listening, you'll start understanding, oh, this fella don't believe nothing different than I do. He's giving me a new thought as far as who the real people are. And then he talked about their DNA evidence, the historical documents, and the Bible says it. What I've been listening to and believing my whole life from my pastor and the bishop, and they ain't told me none of this stuff. And it's plain to see in the text. And I know this script is heavily used, but it's one that really got me started in digging deeper. Like I said, I was digging already, but Deuteronomy's 28. All of Deuteronomy's 28. A lot of people like to jump to the text, the 68th verse, I believe. But if we would go and read the blessings and the curses and really ask yourself, now who do these curses fit? And who do these blessings fit? And we say blessings, but we started off with the blessings, but we, just like Adam and Eve, we gave them over to somebody else because we followed their ideas and their beliefs. Excuse me. And see, the other thing is the laws, statutes, and commands that our old pork chop preachers are saying are done away with. And I joke about that, saying the pork chop preacher, because there's a guy on the internet who goes in on the pastors and the preachers from the church. They call them the pork chop preachers because they don't want to tell the people that the dietary law hasn't been done away with, nor have the moral commandments that the Most High gave us. The only commands that have been done away with at this time are the commands of doing sacrifices. Yes, Yahushua has taken care of those sacrifices and given himself, so we don't have to make daily sacrifices. But we do have to make daily recompense for our sins, and that's going to the Father and asking him to forgive us for what we've done unknowingly. Now, see them sins that we commit that we know that we're doing wrong. See, we can't keep falling into that trap because we're basically, like the text says, asking Yahushua to jump back on the cross again, or asking Jesus to go back and be crucified again because we know better. But at the same time, if the laws, statutes, and commands are done away with, how do we know we're sinning? What is sin? So basically, you're telling me there's no sin. I can't sin. But yet the text says we're sinning daily. So the laws, statutes, and commands, or the commands in this case, are the role model. And see, we have to continually follow the role model or the game plan forever. And see, this is why he gave them to us, his chosen people, that we should walk them out. Everybody ain't gonna walk them out, and that's a given. That's why he gave them to us and told us to follow them and walk them out. Then the nations of the world would be like, those are the children of the Most High. And why? Because they're the head and not the tail. They're above and not beneath. And I want to ask another question. How many of us have listened to our pastors and teachers preach those scripts, but we've never gotten ahead? We've always been the tail. We've always been beneath. And someone else having their foot or their knee on our necks. Why is that? Good question, huh? But all I'm saying is today, make a effort. What is the word? A concerted effort. Concerted effort to where you really apply yourself to figure out what's the goings on. And as the text says, study to show yourself approved. Don't just watch this and say, oh, I don't want to hear that. My pastor said, I don't want to hear that. We've been learning this way our whole lives. It was good enough for mom and them. It's good enough for me. Mom and them been eating pork all our lives. Mom and them been eating crayfish, crabs, and lobster all our lives. And she lived to be 103. Okay. But just like my mama taught us, when you know better, you do better. You see, now we don't have no excuse because the truth is out there. Everywhere you turn, the truth is out there. Just like we went and volunteered in our community, and one of the fellas asked one of our ox or one of our brethren if he wanted him to go get some of the other brothers. And the fella that was with him, well, he said, I'm gonna go tell them the Hebrews are here. And the other brother said, man, they know who the Hebrews are. It's all over YouTube. So it's no doubt that even homeless people are talking about it. So all of us know we're curious about what's the big deal, what's the difference. And the honest truth is no big deal. It's no big difference. It's only applying the word or not applying the word to your life. And that's the basic sum total of the matter. You're either gonna do right or you're not. You're not gonna be able to make excuses when you get before the Most High. You're not gonna be able to say, I didn't hear Robert. Robert didn't tell me this. Robert didn't tell me to go seek out the truth for myself. Robert didn't tell me to go to Deuteronomy 28 and 68 first and then go back and read the whole chapter. Robert didn't tell me to do that. Robert didn't remind me to look at who's owning everything in the book these days, who's in charge of everything these days, who say they the people but are not the people, as Revelations 2 and 9 and Revelations 3 and 9 will tell you. But the text says that these people will be under the curse until the end. So how is certain people not under the curse until the end of time? Which we're living in the end of times. So why is these people not under the curse? And why have these people never been under the curse? Why have we never seen these people in slavery and bondage anywhere for 400 years? As the text says that we would be. See, it's time to start asking the right questions and stop trying to give yourself the wrong answer before you ask the right question. See, these teachers, preachers, and pastors and bishops They don't want you asking the right questions. Just like my last pastor before I came out of the church, he dipped and dodged the question I had before him for like, I want to say almost 2 years, at least a year and a half. And I was giving him time. I was being patient, suffering long, still doing the work while I was in the church, to my understanding, still following the Most High as the best as I could while I was sitting under this fellow. But he didn't want to answer the question. And see, I think we owe it to people to answer the questions. Just like the text said, you always have an answer to your belief, what you believe in, your faith. What do you believe in? If you don't believe in this, tell me why. And when I brought this fellow the question about Deuteronomy 28 and 68, he told me that ships was just a word for their transportation in them days. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, ships back in them days was like trucks and cars of our days. I was like, really? So you really gonna play me as a dum-dum? And I'm gonna leave that at that, but really, think about that. Think about that kind of answer, because it was one given off the spur of the moment, because I'd asked him about the subject. He said he needed to look into it. So I gave him time, then I came back again, and he said that he still hadn't looked into it or studied it like he wanted to. I said, okay. So the last time I cornered him off and presented him the question, and I was like, I'm not gonna settle for the okie doke no more. What do you believe? What do you think, basically? And he told me that, and it was like, you're really gonna take me for a dummy? But see, that's how we're being disrespected in these churches today. See, they're basically government agencies, and that's all they are, and that's all they're ever gonna be. Once most of them take that, what's that, 501(c), they're under rules and regulations to what they can and cannot preach. So as soon as they take that tax right off, they're done. In my opinion, they're done. It's going to be very hard to preach the text like it is and to say everything that the Most High says in the text totally and fully without compromise if you're wearing that banner. So ask yourself that question also. But that's the major differences in what I believe and what I used to believe. Because now, I'm not only a Bible thumper, I believe in what I'm thumping. That didn't sound right. That was corny. But now, I don't only talk the word like the text says, I live it totally. Just as I said earlier, when the Most High said, stop dibbling and dabbling with me, this is right on point for today. Stop playing with the Most High. Study to show yourself approved. And if he's calling you to do ministry, do it. Quit playing with him. And see, this was a harsh warning he gave me this morning. And like I said, it was quite serious, to the point I said, forget an alarm clock. And he got me up like an hour and a half earlier. And usually I would try to go back and it had to be like 2 hours. Because usually he'll get me up an hour before my alarm clock goes off, and he'll give me the thought for the day. And when I go back to lay down, when I go back to lay down, that's where I'm pondering in and out of sleep. And getting up and writing down my notes and the thought or the idea or the script as they come. But not today, no. But that's going to be my time. Really harp on these things or really think on these things. Because time is running out. Shalom.